All right, we have some breaking news to get to here early on a Saturday. This is Golden State Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Chase Senior here with you, coming to you from home because the Warriors and Jordan Poole have agreed to terms on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension. We're going to dive into that coming up, but first, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. We're not at the Chat Sports studios today, no fancy graphics, but no matter where we are, always going to bring you the best Warriors coverage. So hit that red subscribe button down below and lock us in because we're doing our best to give you the most interactive and informative Warriors news, rumors, and analysis. Before we dive into this, today's poll question: do you like the deal of signing Jordan Poole to this contract extension? I want you to give me an L for like, a D for dislike right now in the comment section. Want to hear from all of you. So the terms of the deal: 4 years, $140 million for Jordan Poole. And throughout this week, we discussed that this deal was most likely going to happen in the week leading up to the regular season, with the season opener right around the corner on the horizon Tuesday at home, Chase Center, San Francisco, against the Los Angeles Lakers. Love the Warriors to kickstart them defending the world championship by beating Los Angeles, which is always good because the deadline to reach this extension was Monday. So the indications over the last couple of days was that Jordan Poole and the Warriors were nearing signing this contract extension, and now it is official. And in today's NBA, you lock up special, young offensive talent, and that's exactly, folks, what Jordan Poole is. A really special offensive player who has shown growth, who is continuing to get better. And that's really a byproduct of how the Warriors develop players, their player development program, and the culture that they've been able to build and sustain over about the last decade. But also, this is a credit to Jordan Poole's work ethic. He's 23 years old. You think about that, and you also think about how far he's come over the last 2 years since getting drafted a couple of years ago, 28th, late in the first round, when it looked as though he might be a bust. And now a couple of years later, after going back and forth between the NBA G League as well as this NBA roster, Jordan Poole looked like a cast-off and a guy who was a G League / fringe NBA player, and now he's locked down the bag. $140 million, and the pool party is on and popping. If you're excited about this, type pool party down in the comment section. So some interesting numbers for Jordan Poole, and this really goes to show you the growth that's taken place for him over the last couple of years. Started 51 games for the Warriors last year, career high in points, 18 and a half. And that's why he got some money, because he's continuing to get better. And you're hoping that if he does become an even better player in the years down the road, then this contract going to end up being a bargain. Averaged 4 assists, 3.4 rebounds, and really did have a spectacular run in the NBA playoffs and route to yet another championship for Golden State. 25 points, 60% shooting 6 times in the team's NBA playoff run, and that tied him with Jerry West in 1968 for the second most points in a single postseason, trailing only Andrew Toney in 1982. And after having only one 30-point game in his first 2 NBA regular seasons, think about that. Again, goes back to the growth, and this is why he earned himself some money, and this is why the Warriors are putting faith in him in giving him this contract. One 30-point game his first 2 NBA regular seasons. He delivered 10 30-point games last year, becoming the first Warriors player 22 years or younger to do that in a single season since one of the OGs, Monte Ellis, back in 2007, 2008. And some of my thoughts about this deal: I love it for right now, because Jordan Poole gives you that scoring punch. I also really like it for the future as well. He can be your number 1 scoring option on nights when Steph Curry is playing, but he can also be that number 1 scoring option to take the load off of Steph Curry and to help this offense and to help this team on a night when Steph Curry might need some rest. Klay Thompson might need some rest. He can handle the basketball as a point guard. He can play off ball and really be that number 1 go-to offensive option. Can he be streaky at times? Yeah, a little bit, but that's when averages play out in the NBA for some of these hyper-volume scorers. And if you want to save Steph Curry for the long run, for the long haul, and give him some nights off, your offense isn't going to drop off drastically with Jordan Poole on the floor, because this is a guy who, with a lot of shot opportunities, with a lot of, opportunities to put the ball in the hoop, he's okay with those volume loads offensively night in and night out. And you just think about this, right? From G League 2 years ago, right around the All-Star break. And before that, he was up and down between the G League roster and the NBA roster. To now, here in October of 2022, he is signing this $140 million contract extension. As for where it pits Jordan Poole alongside some other young players who sign these max contracts at this point of them being on their rookie deals, Jordan Poole gets $140 million. R.J. Barrett, 4 for 107. Tyler Hero, 4 for 120. And Jordan Poole checks in at 4 for 140. So a little bit more expensive as compared to those other players, but who really is the most impactful player among those young cats? You got to put Jordan Poole in that category, and he might be the better player as compared to Tyler Hero. I'd rather have Jordan Poole. For me, Tyler Hero, way too streaky, and I think that Jordan Poole is a little bit more consistent with the way that he handles the basketball and the fact that he can really get to the hoop. He's got some type of mid-range game, although I'd like to see a little bit touch there, but the moves in his arsenal, the moves in his pocket, the moves in his bag to really create for himself, spin moves, that little dribble in and out hesitation, the handle really is fantastic, the finishing around the rim, and he's not scared to let it fly from distance. And that goes back to kind of the confidence that the Warriors instill in some of their players. Look, you might miss 10 straight shots, but have confidence, and this also goes to Steph Curry and the confidence that he's displayed in himself and others to this point. If you miss 10 shots, that's okay. Have that confidence that you're going to hit that next shot. And Jordan Poole does really have that element to his game. And on this team, with Steph Curry, with Klay Thompson, with Draymond Green, with the other young players, it helps you right now because Jordan Poole gives you that scoring element. It helps you in the future when this core starts to get a little bit older, and alongside some of these other young players, they're going to continue to grow this culture. They're going to continue to grow this continuity, this camaraderie, to build the young core on this team to really take over at some point down the road, hopefully and ideally, when Steph, Klay, and Draymond get a little bit older. This is also pretty interesting, too, because the Warriors showing faith in Jordan Poole by giving him this contract after the fight with Draymond Green. And we know that Draymond Green is looking for a new contract. We know that Draymond Green can opt out of that contract after this year to become a free agent. We know that Draymond Green is looking for one more massive deal. The Warriors, pretty telling here that they're paying Jordan Poole right now, yet they're not paying Draymond Green. And this is why we had that conversation throughout the week. Like, who would you rather pay? Is it Jordan Poole? Is it Draymond Green? Is it a guy like Andrew Wiggins, or is it a guy like Draymond Green? Like, the Warriors are entering a very tricky situation and tricky scenario. They're already so deep into the luxury tax, but you do have to look ahead, and you have to look at some players who are trending upward and maybe invest in them as compared to a Draymond who is getting a little bit older and his play's falling off a little bit. You run into even more problems when you pay an older player like Draymond Green and he doesn't live up to that contract, and then you run into a situation where you're like, shoot, we have no money to spend. We may have paid the wrong guy. So pretty telling here that the Warriors do pay Jordan Poole right now ahead of that deadline early next week, and they don't pay yet Draymond Green. Interesting to see what happens down the road with both of them getting into that much talked about fight. All right, this has been Golden State Warriors today. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is why you subscribe to the channel. When breaking news happens, we have you covered. As always, appreciate all of you for watching, and keep it locked and subscribe for more Warriors coverage.